everyone. Welcome, welcome. It is Friday. It is time for another live stream. I hope you all are doing well. It is October. It is long sleeve season officially here. Oh, wow. Are you ready? Are you ready? I tried to get up the Q&A feature like ahead of time in the stream as opposed to figuring it out after I went live, and my microphone's way over here. This probably will make it easier for you to hear me. Hi everybody. Okay, doggo camera, she's like right where, I don't think the camera can see her probably, even if I move it. I'll just check, because she's like underneath my chair. Oh no, you guys, there she, oh, look at her. Okay, I thought for sure she wasn't gonna be visible, but she likes to lay right behind my chair sometimes, and it does give me anxiety. So there you go. But hi everybody, my name is vvvvvvvv. Welcome back to another Friday night live stream here on my channel. Every Friday at 6 p.m. we stream for about 2 hours, and we do a little Q&A. It is 18 plus only. That's very important, as it says right up there. 18 plus only. That is for your safety, my safety, everyone's safety, because here we talk about adult topics. We talk about kink and BDSM and sexuality and some things as well, like dating and relationships and pop culture. But because we do talk about, obviously, adult subjects as, you know, not safe for work topics per a lot of different regulations and guidelines, I do not let minors participate in chat. And that is how things are. If you'd like to come back when you have had your 18th birthday, even on your 18th birthday, that would also be totally fine. And we have had people come through and be like, I'm finally 18, I can be in the live stream. Yeah, I'm so excited. And it's like, it's worth it to wait, folks. It's worth it to wait. We do also have an FAQ that is in the description box if you have commonly asked questions like, how do I find a partner? Where do I buy a flogger? That kind of thing. There will be links below to answers for those questions. But generally speaking, these are live streams where we can talk about anything and everything that y'all want. We have a Q&A feature in the YouTube live stream. It is typically pinned at the top of the chat, which you can see. How do I point to it? Up there. And it's white. And if you go over there, you can put in your question. Now, you may also want to put your question in the main top chat as well, just the regular way, because if you put it in the Q&A chat, other people in the audience won't see it until I read it. And sometimes it's nice to have feedback and other thoughts from other people. You can also use a super chat, as Sean has just done. Thank you so much. I got my COVID and flu shots yesterday. Start of stream gifts incoming. Thank you so much, Sean. And as you can see, it'll show the text on screen of your question or whatever it is you put in the chat, and then it will get to it right away. Otherwise, I answer questions in the order that they come in. I also have some topic suggestions that I put in the title of the live streams, and those are just some things that are on my mind. Obviously, because it's October, that means it's Locktober. Oh, can't go that way. You can see my blanket. I always have a blanket on my lap if I'm live streaming, unless it's like 80 degrees outside or above. Yeah. Going back to staring out the window. So that's more or less what y'all need to know. Q&A. Talk about whatever y'all want. Be nice in the chat. Listen to me. Listen to the mods. Please be respectful. Obviously, I'm not going to answer every single question. I won't have time. And also, sometimes you people ask things that I don't want to get into, and so I don't touch those. But as long as you don't come across as rude, it's probably going to be fine. And don't spam the chat. We do have that Q&A feature, so that will just reserve your question and crystallize it. I'm not sure what it looks like to use it from a viewer's point of view. I don't know like how to describe doing that or what it looks like, but if it ends up being in the Q&A chat, then I'll get to it. And then I usually give people about 10 or 15 minutes before the end of the live stream to re-ask questions in case I missed something, or like you just came in and it's like the last final call to ask something. Otherwise, you're going to have to wait until next time. And that is what you need to know about that. Yes, so good for staying on top of the shots. I'm actually going to go tomorrow and get mine done because I finally found places around here that have them. My usual pharmacy weirdly did not have the COVID boosters in stock, so I was like, I'm just going to wait until I can do both the flu and the COVID at the same time, just get them both done. But if you haven't already, I do recommend getting your boosters, especially if you're going to be attending any events for either Halloween. Maybe you're going to Dark Odyssey Surrender at the end of the month. Actually, it's the week before the end of the month. It's the week before Halloween. If you want to do that, I recommend it. It'll help keep you protected because nobody likes con crud. Nobody likes going to an amazing, beautiful convention or a Halloween party and then coming home the next day or next week and feeling sick and like not being able to work and not being able to enjoy yourself because, I mean, con drop is already bad enough as it is. Sub drop is bad enough as it is. Why make it worse? Get your boosters if you can. If you can't because you're immunocompromised or whatever reason, fair enough. But if you're somebody who's eligible, I do recommend getting one if you can. She loves staring wistfully at the window. She, especially this time of year, loves being outside, loves staring at everything outside. I think we have new neighbors that have outdoor cats, and she's obsessed. So she wants to go and watch what the kitty cats are doing as much as possible from up high where she cannot get to them, which I think is probably what the cats prefer, honestly. Mm-hmm. Oh, you already got to it. I was just about to get to it. Thank you, Twixie. Work is offering free COVID and flu shots on the 23rd, so I'll be getting mine then. Hell yeah. Glad they could get that figured out for you. Yeah. So random. Yeah, I'm definitely a Satanist propagandist. That's why you can see from the shirt, it says beauty and decay. That's propaganda for Satan, for sure. Yeah. Great stuff. Yeah, base Twixie for sure. Went on a date with someone new today. Ooh, exciting. It went super well. She brought her dog, who is a Pomeranian Chihuahua mix. Oh, that sounds adorable. Is that, what does they call it? Like a Pomchi? That's like a designer name from like 2006, which I don't love, but Pomeranian Chihuahuas are very cute. And I'm glad that your date went well. That's so exciting. 12 hours of fever, but great ever since. Good to hear it. And thank you, Sean, for the 5 gifted memberships. Oh, I didn't mention the membership. So we do also have a YouTube membership. If you would like to become a member, it is 99 cents. That allows you to get both a cute little icon by your name in the live stream, and it also gives you access to our emotes, which we have lots of very cute emotes. We have ones both of me and Bandita, and possibly one in the future of my co-pilot, who is Morabella, the princess ballerina capybara. Obviously. This is an idol of Satan worship right here, if I've ever seen it. Sometimes trolls are like, they try to be mean and they just say shit that's like super funny. Like, hell yeah, I am a Satanism supporter. You got me. You missed me on my day when I'm not wearing my like I love Satan t-shirt. So instead I have her who's on my my altar to Beelzebub. It's a more Bellin time for sure. Just told my friend he needs to get his shots. Good reminder. Yeah. Get them done. Get them taken care of, you know? Just, I feel like now's a great time to get them. We're not going to know for sure if the flu shot for this year is good or not until later on. Christmas, holidays, lots of conventions happening, lots of big kink parties. So, you know, I'm a big proponent, especially as a self-employed person, of not getting sick, because when I get sick, I don't have coworkers, I don't have a boss, I don't have paid time off, I don't get sick leave. Like, if I'm sick, if I'm out of commission, I'm just out of commission. I just can't do anything. And that's not good when you're a self-employed person. So I try to avoid getting ill when possible. Like a BDSM related server, all totally God-fearing conservatives. Oh, yeah. Oh, no, yeah, channel. Yeah, yes, my BDSM channel is, it's all, I love 2 things. I love kink and I love Christ. Christ for kink. That's the name of my, that's my secret second channel that you guys don't know about that I haven't launched yet. It's called Kink for Christ, and it's all about how to show your devotion to Jesus through BDSM. Which, like, I mean, medieval monks weren't that far off. They weren't doing BDSM, to be clear. I think a lot of people will say stuff like that about historical BDSM, where they're like, oh yeah, well, like, the Romans did this, the Egyptians did that, or whatever. You know, medieval monks were flagellating, and like, yes, like pain on purpose as a ritual or religious thing has been around for as long as we have documented organized religion. That's for some reason human brains like to do that. Seems to be a thing that humans enjoy doing. But to call it BDSM is a misnomer. It's just more part of the broad human tendency to do pain on purpose. And kink is one manifestation of that. It's not that every instance of it ever in all of history across all societies is always secretly kink somehow. There's lineage there. And I think to make it seem like, you know, causing people pain on purpose or, you know, serving someone or devotion is somehow this like alien newfangled concept that got invented by, you know, Western patriarchy as a way of oppressing women or something is ignoring, again, the long human tendency to want to do those things in an intentional and ritualistic way, which is, you know, just part of the human brain experience. Christ, you're kinky. Yeah, that sounds very Australian. Like, when I read that, I just hear that in an Australian accent. CCD is so funny. No, it's not BDSM. It's godly. Yeah. Oh, no, wait, not CCD. CDD, which is Christian domestic discipline. Yeah, that's a whole can of worms. Maybe I should make... I've long delayed making a video about Christian domestic discipline, and maybe it's worth visiting that topic as trad wifery continues to gain mainstream acceptance. Like, one of you actually sent me an article from the Financial Times about trad wives, so it seems to be here to stay. It seems to be having a cultural moment, and because it is really just a slip and slide journey away between, you know, Instagram, TikTok, trad wife stuff, and spanking your wife over the knee because you saw a laundry detergent ad and you thought that's what 1950s households were really like. You know, I mean, spousal discipline, i.e. physical abuse, was very much a thing in that era. It did happen, and it was societally normal. That's why they did put it in advertising, because obviously people were disgusted by it. They would not have put it in ads. But to recreate that in the modern day without a hint of irony is interesting. And I would say kink gets away with it because we are nothing but irony, and we are aware of what we're doing, what we're recreating. There's a level of conscious intentionality that's not present in, well, but because Jesus told me. Or not even because Jesus. Let's be honest, Jesus never said shit about beating your wives when she didn't buy your favorite perfume that week. Like, none of those words are in the Bible. That's not in there. Oh, thank you. That's true. Yes, if you are on my Patreon, I do have an extra live stream on Tuesdays every week. And that, if you like me reacting to content here on YouTube, if you like hearing my raw, unfiltered thoughts where sometimes I laugh so hard that I almost pass out, and I'm very literal with that. It happened this week on Tuesday. On Tuesdays, we do it over on Patreon, and that gives you a whole extra stream. And I don't have to censor anything. I don't have to blur anything out. I can swear, do whatever I want. We watch documentaries sometimes. We watch YouTube videos. We do like productivity streams where I'm like working on videos and scripting and doing stuff like that as well. And we watch cute puppy ASMR videos while I make videos because that seems fun to me. But apparently for some people, it's also torture. So there you go. And that is over there on Tuesdays on Patreon. But I'm actually going to be making a video. I might work on it this week, and I don't know when I'm going to put it in my filming schedule. I looked at my channel, because I've been making videos for, 8 or 9 years at least at this point, consistently, and, you know, I had, 1 season, 2 season videos for the first, year or so, so I'm not really counting that, but I have, videos from 2018, so you do the math on that. That's 7 years ago. 7 years ago, I made videos on tips for how to be a better dom and a better sub. And we need to revisit that because we watched a video from another content creator who shall remain nameless that I was not very impressed by and that I thought had undertones of manosphere bullshit. And y'all know how I feel about manosphere bullshit creeping into my kink community. We can have different political opinions. We don't all have to think the same thing in kink. just to be clear, because somebody will always take this wrong when I bring this up, the issue is not around people having different political opinions or some people being more conservative or whatever. That's all fine. Also, my dog's like very over there in the corner. You can like barely see her. But that's her little like doggy cave area is underneath my, underneath my coffee table on a blanket. But we have differences of opinion. My issue is having a subtle inclusion of a belief system that when you dig further into it, maybe because you're in the kink community, you're looking for advice on how to do DS in a better way, you watch a video about it, somebody in there mentions something about the 80-20 rule, or what's some other things, I feel like there's other, I'm having trouble coming up with examples, but something like that, where you're like, oh, what's that? And then you look it up, and then suddenly you're like, Suddenly you think that you have to play games with people and lie to them to get them to be in a relationship with you. And I don't like that, because that is, to me, antithetical to what it means to be doing kink. So I like to be cautious about what content I promote. I like to be cautious about the way that things are said to the best of my ability. Obviously, I do sometimes say things that are incorrect or wrong, even though I try my best to be educated about as much of kink as possible. There are hundreds of kinks, so I can't know everything about everything, especially from both sides of the slash as well, which is another thing. But yeah, if you want to watch me laugh my ass off until I almost pass out, that's on Patreon, and it's a fun time. 2018 is coincidentally when I started my current job as well. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, I started YouTube I made my account in the summer, or like late spring, I think May of 2015 is when I made my account, and then I posted my first video like probably a month or two after that. And then I did videos for a little bit, and then I took a break for a while because I was graduating school, and then I started making videos again, and then here we are. Oh, hypergamy. Yeah, hypergamy. Yeah. Or being attracted to the dark triad, or just kind of general, like sort of like sexually painfully heterosexual, like what I would call painfully heterosexual takes about human intimacy and relationships. Or like, yes, femininity equals submission. Yes, yeah, high value females. Oh my God, yes. How do you attract a high value woman as your submissive? Which I'm not even sure if that means alpha woman, or if that, which it probably doesn't. It probably means like woman with big titties and no degree. All tits, no pieces of paper. Yeah, it is something. Yeah, feminine equals submission, which I want to, there are people who, like, this is how they relate to kink. It's a personal thing. I totally get it. Where for them, it's gender affirming to do submission or to be dominant, and it connects with their sense of gender. And I get that. That makes sense to me in my brain. But saying it as absolute things like femininity itself universally means submission is like, again, mama bears exist. Are we sure about that? Like, caretaking sweet husband is a thing. Are we sure that all dominance is about masculinity and vice versa? Like, yeah, it just seems odd to me. As a high value woman, if you have to ask, you can leave. True. I also hate how the term alpha is used so much. Yeah, I know it ruins it for all the ABO kink people, doesn't it? When you just have to deal with all the folks stealing your terminology and being like, I'm a real alpha male. Yeah, also just the word females. Yeah, honestly, just the word females. If I read the word female in a blog article, my ears perk up and I'm like, let's investigate this a little bit. What's going on here? I must admit, kink works well for my artistic special interest, and the variety suits my ADHD dopamine needs. I mean, I think you are not alone on that. Most people I know, even most of my play partners, are neurodivergent of some description. Most people I know in the kink community in general, especially the public scene, are some flavor of neurodivergent. We truly are a bundle of weirdos who all have unique special brains, and like, I'm sure that neurotypical people exist in kink, but I don't meet a lot of them. Which also is part of the reason why, like, the more I think about it, maybe a point that people haven't made you know, in the dialogue that we have about like mental illness and BDSM and how, oh, well, you know, BDSM is related to trauma, or BDSM is something that happens when you have poor mental health because you have like low self-esteem. And realizing now how many people in the kink community, like, you know, upwards of, in the public scene, at least a quarter, at least 25%, depending on how we're defining neurodivergence, a lot. It's a lot. Like, okay, so we're saying that trauma and these other things are causing an interest in BDSM, when in reality, especially if we're looking at like people who are autistic or autistic people, depending on what way you prefer to phrase that for yourself, when you look at that, right, there's a ton of comorbidities with autism, but it's not because like autism makes you a worse person, or because like you're mentally ill and that makes you be into BDSM. It's because like when you don't fit into dominant society and you don't get supported emotionally or physically in the ways that you need as a child, like that disrupts your mental well-being, and then that can cause things like anxiety and depression. And it's not like we're looking at it like it's less like you're into kink because you have low self-esteem, and more like, well, babe, you're autistic and you didn't get emotional or physical support the way you needed in childhood, and so therefore like this is how your mental health is going. And then you find the kink community and it's full of other weird people who do relate to you, that do know how to support you, that can be affirming of your internal experience and your hobbies and your interests. And that's actually really healing for people. And I should actually check, because I know that there's a new study that's from Tashra about like kink mental well-being, and how potentially like there's actually a lot of protective mental health benefits to participating in kink. And why is my air quality meter on my thing going crazy? That's not the worst level, but it's a second from worst. What happened? Oh, it's probably because I used dry shampoo. Just noticed that. But yeah, I'm going to look that up because I know that's coming out soon and I'm excited about it because we're just learning more and more all the time. We are very well represented in the kink, fetish, BDSM community. It can be very healing. We're able to control things that previously harmed us. Plus, sensory input that we can control means all the glimmers. Yes, exactly. Like, there's just tons of positives. And again, I was trying to get at, I don't think people, when we're talking about, okay, when there are overlaps between, you know, certain mental health conditions and kink, you know, a lot of it's either treated as like a causal thing or random happenstance. And I think if we're layering on the fact that we know there's a lot of neurodivergence in the community, and that tends to have a lot of comorbid factors to it because social tension, lack of support, things I already mentioned. Then it's like, oh, well, like that's a whole other avenue maybe to look into. Anyways, somebody give me a PhD so I can research this. Anyone want to hand out? I don't even know what field that would be in. Just psychology, probably. Anyone want to give me a doctorate in psychology so I can study the overlap between comorbid mental health things and autism and kink? I'll do it. I'll do the study. I'm gonna guess. Give me like $100,000. I can make this happen. Yes. The Omegaverse people have found each other. I have learned that alpha females can apparently impregnate omega females and maybe omega males in the ABOverse. I love this. Oh yes, we've had the conversations about alpha females before, which is a niche that I feel like needs more representation. And I think maybe there's some YouTube channel, Rowan Ellis maybe, who has videos of ABO. And I have a video about it from, I think, like a year or two ago. And I find, like, the surface level of it to be kind of meh, right? Like, the stuff that gets represented in, like, most YouTube videos about it as being, like, a cringe thing of, oh, ABO is, you know, these, like, straight women who, you know, don't want to admit that they have these, like, weird kinks. And so they, you know, they do these, you know, kind of this, like, ravishment fan fiction stuff where it's about being like taken by an alpha male and blah blah blah, or hateful things about like people who are into yaoi and stuff like that. And I think if we just talked more about alpha females and that kind of thing, people would realize, oh shit, this can be gay as hell, and then maybe it'd be fine. I went to a Florentine flogging class on Monday, but was only able to get the basics of 4-point down, 6.1 process on my mind. Hey, look, getting that in one class, that's all right. Florentine flogging, some people just there have a real knack for stuff like that. I couldn't do it. Especially like the expensive buying, a matched pair of floggers. I don't ever do Florentine flogging, topping or bottoming. I've watched a lot of people do it. I've never experienced it. It seems like it's fun, but just keep practicing and you'll get there for sure. Fanfictions managed to break into big budget film via movies like 50 Shades of Grey, so a Megaverse movie went. I mean, I think if I looked it up, somebody's bought the rights for at least something to turn into a movie somewhere. I'm autistic and have a special interest in kinks, specifically ABDL. Personally, I feel that being autistic is very much playing into that being a big part of me. It is, in fact, very healing. It helps me unmask. Oh, yeah, I didn't even mention that part, like the demasking part of being in kink. Absolutely, yeah, that's a big correlation as well. I've been meaning, I did a video about ADHD, and I did ones a little bit about, like, helping people with ADHD and kink and, like, being a supportive partner. And I want to revisit that with more of a focus on, like, helping partners with autism. But the problem with that is, like, because autism is a spectrum, obviously you can have people that are both on the spectrum and have completely different and, like, opposite needs. And so I can't really make as many general statements about, like, this is the way that you can be supportive or you should do this thing, because it's not going to work for everybody. And it also depends, like, are they just autistic? Do they have other things going on? Are they also somebody with ADHD? And so it makes it harder to make statements kind of the way that I gave examples of in the ADHD video. But I would like to talk about that more because, again, so many people are neurodivergent, and we're just now, I would say in the last like 2 or 3 years, really talking about it as part of kink. And I think that's partly because our scientific understanding has trickled down into discourse, and also like autistic people in community with each other, promoting awareness, talking about their experiences too in a way that was slowly building up over the last like couple of decades, but now I think is like much more in the mainstream than it once was. Both of those things going together, I think, have just given us a much more deep perspective on what it can look like, right? It's not all the, like, Sheldon from Big Bang Theory stuff, or, how was it, Abed from Community, right? Those are, like, sort of the, I think people like probably Abed more than Sheldon in terms of representation. But we're just learning a lot more. We're learning it to be a more diverse thing, and I think recognizing it and being able to talk about it the same way that we would talking about, you know, supporting somebody with trauma triggers, or, you know, what do you do when your dom is going through a seasonal depressive episode? Like, that should be something that is a part of a broader conversation we're having. Yeah, Omegaverse has appeared indeed. Omegaverse movie starring John Cena and Harry Styles. Or is that just a me thing? You're barking up the wrong tree if you're asking me what I think about that as a concept, because I don't like yaoi. I don't know that much about Omegaverse, and I am a spec. And if you're gonna ask me who's gonna work together in a very sexually charged gay romance movie, I'm gonna be like, that could work. Any comment, it could be Danny DeVito and Harry Styles, and I'd be like, you know what? Maybe I could see it happen. He'd sell it. He'd put a lot into it. Maybe rather than those specific neurodivergence varieties, the way to do it would be things like the sensory requirement needs these accommodations. I think that's much more the way that people have done it when I've seen it, like in person at events. Like, they don't ask you, like, why do you need this accommodation? It's just like, this is what I want. Does this fit the rules of the space? Or if it's not within the rules of the space, does it make sense to make an exception here for somebody, right? Like, oftentimes, like Kinkfest has long had back and forth stuff with, like, whether or not you can wear, like, earbuds. And now that it's become more of an accessibility thing, because obviously dungeons, very loud, lots of bright colors, very overstimulating for a lot of people, you need to have something there for folks to be able to process. And earbuds are a good way to do that. And so it's something that a lot of people rely on. And so therefore you have to change the rule for everybody or have it be a routine exception for people. My favorite rapper, Young Sheldon. Is that a real thing? Is that real? I hope it's not real. Omegaverse isn't really my taste. I was more on the femme/slash wagon back when I read fan fiction. A lot of Buffy, Willow, and what is that? Oh, Bella Alice. Oh, like Twilight. I was like, Alice, Bella, who, what? Oh, wow. Twilight's not been in my brain. It's just, now we have so many layers of, like, we have Twilight, and then we had 50 Shades, which is Twilight fan fiction, and then we have 365 Days, which is not fan fiction of 50 Shades of Grey directly, but is, like, inspired by that and part of the dark romance mafia subgenre. Like, Twilight, I mean, I saw, a GIF on Twitter the other day of I think it was probably Breaking Dawn Part 1, where, like, they first have sex and he's, like, crushing the bed with his hands, like a wood bed frame. He just, like, smashes it with his hands, and I'm like, man, I read that when I was, like, 14 years old, and my reaction to that, honestly, at the time was like, this reads like really bad fan fiction. 14-year-old me, the aficionado of literature that I was at that time, having read Twilight and really got sold on it from the cover art. God, that's some fucking A-S tier even cover art. And I was a little disappointed it was not nearly as dark as I hoped it would be. But by God, by the time they got to Breaking Dawn, that was I read all of them. I read all the books. I was a fan. I wanted to see where it would go, and then my little A-spec brain was not down to clown with the plot as it wrapped up. Although I'm not sure where I thought it was gonna go. I wanted there to be more vampires. I wanted there to be more murder. That's what I wanted. What's the argument against allowing earbuds? Not being able to easily communicate with other people and not hearing DMs. So the idea is if you're at a dungeon and there's earbuds, especially if they're noise-canceling ones, that might interfere with your ability to hear directions from a DM if they're trying to give you verbal directions, and it impacts your ability to communicate with the partner that you're doing a scene with, and it's an elevated level of risk that for whatever reason they've decided that they don't want to take on, / I think there might also be some concern about it being a recording device. Because obviously you can put in earbuds when you're on a phone call, so maybe you put in earbuds and you say listening to music, but then really you have it like recording something, and even if you're maybe primarily recording your own voice, there's still background noise, maybe other conversations, you could maybe use them in kind of a sneaky way, I think has generally been the concern from what I understand. But Buffy, Willow, I get that. For sure, absolutely. We don't even have to get into like my fan fiction stuff. What was I into fan fiction wise? I'm pretty sure it was like mostly just Mass Effect. it was Mass Effect, and then I literally can't think of anything else that I read fan fiction for. I'm sure I read something at some point, but I tend to just write my own stuff and like do original character stuff if I want to, come up with a fantastic idea and like kind of build it out into something. Being a caregiver in ABDL scenes gives me a lot of joy and butterflies. Mommying is fulfilling, LOL. I get that tism. Lots of T-girlies I meet are littles. It's nice being able to make me feel like, oh, that is so sweet, Jessie Field. That is adorable. Yes. Yeah, I totally see that. I think caregiving is fulfilling for a lot of people. And it's really wonderful to have a space where you can do that in an intentional way in kink, because whether you are somebody who wants to receive care or give it to other people, it's so common in life to have vanilla relationships where you give that caretaking energy to somebody, but it's either not reciprocated or not recognized. And that just doesn't feel very good, does it? It just does not. All right, she's moved back to her little hidey hole. She's just going to alternate between those two spots, I guess. It's like trying to see a panda at the zoo. She's not going to always be there all the time. So I learned the Samsung smartwatch 8 has an audio recorder that lasts for hours. That's dangerous. That's definitely going to get misused by somebody somewhere. I was really frustrated that Tally wasn't a romance option for Femme Shepherd and Mass Effect. Oh yeah, they should just make everyone pansexual for everyone all the time. I think that should just be an option forever. Was it the third game or the second one? There was like Jax or something who like shaved head, covered in tattoos and piercings. I don't think you could romance them as a Femme Shep either, which was like, what the fuck? Come on now. Come on. Yeah. Weirdly, Code Lyoko was my big fanfic interest. I mean, I think it's, you know what I mean? It's just maybe, did you find that as an adult? That would be weirder, but I think it was something you grew up with as a kid that makes sense. Like there's Spy Kids fan fiction and there's Shrek. Oh my God, there's so, I know without looking, I know in my heart without looking it up, there is so much Shrek fan fiction. There has to be. Oh yeah, especially God. I mean, it's just, I mean, the donkey dragon relationship on screen. It's textual. It's textual fan fiction. Providing a safe space for people to work themselves out and grow as people is exceedingly fulfilling. Yes, yes, very much so. All right, holy shit, I've been rambling for like 30 minutes. Yeah, Pandita. Yeah, exactly. Like she's a panda. If I had a black and white Pomeranian, that might be their nickname. Although I would not name a black and white dog Panda because I'm not basic. I don't even, or Oreo. No Oreos and no pandas if you're going to have a black and white Pomeranian. Unless I got a dog from a shelter and they came with that name and they seem to vibe with it, then maybe. I should add that the teacher said that Florentine is mostly for show because at the bottom isn't able to see the art of the same feeling from normally spinning floggers at your side. Oh, I see what you're saying. So it's like Florentine flogging is about the visuals of it and isn't able to see the art, the same feeling. Oh, like it's like they should feel it, that kind of intention and artistry from you even when you're doing like normal flogging and not Florentining. Like it doesn't magically make your scenes better. I would say Florentine whips is different just because the speed is so different when you have two whips versus only throwing one. And I've seen people do like, this might be for show too, but I've seen people do like double Florentine whippings where it's like a co-topping scene where you have two whips on each dom or top and you have two doms or tops and one bottom. And they're just getting just boom, 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 boom. I think that I mean, honestly, I'm curious about trying it because I think that might be just like insta subspace TBH because the adrenaline from that would be fucking crazy. But that seems very physically intense. And either I feel like doing that, if you're doing like a double Florentine whipping, that either has got to be like the quickest subspace ever or like an instant red where it's like, oh, fuck no, this is way too much, especially depending on how hard they're going and where they're hitting. Like, I don't know. Some people are masochists. Shocking, I know. Some people are masochists. Oh, Domino. Yes. Yeah, Domino would work. Our shelter dogs have, the two females are Princess Leia because we got her on Star Trek Wars Day. Or Star Trek Wars, Jesus Christ. Star Wars Day. And Bella, and the male is Bruno. Love them very much. Cute. I love it. I bet there's lots of dogs named after. How many Chewbacca's are there? How many dogs named Chewbacca's exist in the world? We've got a Sammy and Husky mix here. Poofiest, loudest white dog. So he's a lunatic mixed with good boy energy. Only he listens to commands is consistent. Only he listens to commands is consistent, firm yelling. Oh, that's really funny. I guess that makes sense. Huskies have a very strong will. Hubby calls it instant subspace. Yeah. All or nothing play for absolutely for sure. Like I'd have to be in such a particular headspace in the first place to even say yes to that arrangement that it would probably be with somebody where I had a built up history of subspace anyways. And that just like makes it easier to get into anyhow. As a certified masochist, that's so true. Yeah. I'm glad you have your certificate. Do you have it like hung up on the wall? Chewbacca the Chihuahua. Oh my God. That would be funny though. A little like chocolate Chihuahua named Chewy. Somebody's got that. There's probably 5 people in Portland that have a Chihuahua named Chewy. Either because of Chew Toy or because of Chewbacca. Would this count as dark romance? A novel about a man escaping the toxic red pill community. I love where this is going. A novel about a man escaping the toxic red pill community to seek a respectful DS relationship with a dominant woman. I think could be romance. I'm not sure what about that would be dark. I think the relationship has to be dark for it to be a dark romance, not just escaping from something negative. Because there's a lot of romance novels that start on the idea of somebody like escaping a bad relationship or moving away from a bad job or recovering from trauma. So maybe it would have to be like a really weird fucked up DS relationship. You know, like it'd have to be something that involves like, I don't know, like extreme humiliation play or like something illicit. I don't know. I think you could get there. I like the idea of a man escaping the toxic red pill community and then like finding a femdom. I think that's cute. Wasn't that a subplot of a book, Escape from Incel Island? I've never heard of that book, but I'll take your word for it. My rescue Ridgeback is named Sprocket, like the professor's dog from Fraggle Rock. That's also very cute. So many dogs. I'm glad we're all dog people in the chat. All right, let's do some questions, huh? How about we do that? All right. If you have not asked your question yet, we have a Q&A feature that is pinned to the top of the chat. You can also use a super chat if you wanted to skip to the front of the line. Otherwise, I do obviously read questions from the main chat as well when I can get to them, but I can't promise I'm going to see all of them, so getting them into the specific question box is the way to go. What's in the mug tonight? Okay, so I have... Well, that's probably actually the wrong order to read them in, actually. That's probably the newest one. This is my pup mug that I've had for forever. And actually... I didn't mean to get this. I didn't plan on getting it, but it was my little treat at the store today because I'm a big believer, as the Berenstain Bears talk about. Actually, I'm going to probably reference that Berenstain Bears book if I can find it for the video I make on like punishments and rewards. But there's one where they get little treats at the store for like behaving well, and that shit like got super rooted in my brain. So my little treat from my grocery run this last week is I got a chocolate, I think it was a chocolate chai latte mix. So it's chai and it doesn't have honey in it, which is I like chai and I prefer to buy, I feel like concentrates turn out better than when I try to make it myself with tea bags. And honestly, not even just like straight chai can be really hit or miss, like how strong the flavor is. Like I feel like I always need to zhuzh it up if I want to turn it into a latte. So anyways, I buy the concentrates very occasionally, maybe once or twice a year. So this is a chocolate chai latte mix that doesn't have honey in, which is hard to find. Most of them have honey in, and oat milk. Like an oat milk. Actually, it's not oat milk. It has oat in it, but it's the Silk Protein Blend, which is like, I sometimes get just plain oat milk if I'm cooking with it and I feel like it needs it for a recipe. But my main go-to for non-vegan or non-dairy vegan milk is the Silk Protein Blend. And that's like, there's a couple, it's like soy and almond and pea and I think oat in there as well. And that's really good. And I feel like it doesn't taste as, it's not overly sweet. It's very creamy. I will drink it straight by itself. I think it's really good. And most people I know, even people that aren't dairy free, like it and they drink it. It's good. So that's what's in my mug. I need a little bit of caffeine today. Although I think this contributed last time to when we live stream on Tuesday. I also had some, and I also had like half a glass worth of it. And I'm pretty sure that's why I almost fainted while I was streaming from laughing so hard, is just because I think it fucked with my blood pressure or something. I don't know. But it's tasty. I like it. It was warm and now it's just kind of like room temperature, but that's fine. I'll drink it in any flavor, honestly, or any temperature. Have you seen or heard of anyone bringing character type outfits to hunts? Character type outfits. My partner suggested it would be interesting or funny if someone showed up in a ghost face or Michael Myers mask. I haven't seen like how, sort of, yes. Not anything at that level of like, I'm going to be ghost faced or I'm going to be, Freddy or anything like that. But I think that would be really fun. Especially, I would love to do a Halloween hunt one year if that works out timing wise. If I could do something in October, which weather wise is dicey here, but if I did something in California, it would probably be possible. I love the idea of doing a Halloween themed hunt where it's like the different doms and tops and people who are hunting and chasing get to dress up as different like Halloween movie villains. Or I think I'd probably keep. I wouldn't want to necessarily be true crimey, so I wouldn't want someone to show up dressed up like Ted Bundy or something. But if you want to do like the clown from It, or I guess even just the concept of like an evil clown in general would be fun. Just imagine getting chased in the woods, but like an evil clown. He's got a bunch of balloons and like they're honking like a clown horn while they're running after you. God, that would be so funny. I'm actually working on a video for Halloween this year about clown roleplay, and I might have to include that as an example. So long answer short, Yes, there's a thing you can do. I haven't seen it too much. I would love to see that happen. Be the change you want to see in the world. Obviously, I would ask the people, if you're going to go to a hunt event and you're thinking about this or you're planning it, if you're ever not sure if something's going to be okay or not, ask the organizers. I do know that there are some hunts where the theme, kind of no matter what time of year it is it's supposed to be much more like an English hunt. So if you're a writer, if you are a hunter, you're supposed to be more dressed just like animals, or like you're going on an English hunt, or at least athletic clothing, rather than kind of making it comical and silly, because you're trying to maintain the headspace for like everyone in the group, right? Just wanted to show some love. This fall marks the 3rd year since I discovered this lovely channel and community. It's been such an honor to be part of it. Thank you so much, Lexi. I'm so grateful that you are here. And I have always loved getting to follow your journey and the different ways that your relationship has grown. And you are a precious member of our community, and thank you for being here. Also, I think, do I want to add anything else to the question about outfits and hunts? Again, like I was saying, just talk to the managers of the creators of the event if you're like, we think we want to do this, because some places, I think most people are going to be like, hell yeah, dress up, we don't care. Like, especially if you're doing it with a partner. Like, if you're going to be going there with a scene partner, they're going to be the one chasing you, or vice versa. Then like, okay, you already have kind of a scene planned within the thing that we're organizing, so go for it. They might have different rules if it's more general and they want to pair you up with somebody, because obviously the more specific you get with your costume, the harder it's going to be to match it with somebody, because like that's, that might feel a little bit like too real and too scary, especially with the mask element to it. But I love it. I think it's a great idea. Go for it. Incorporate, listen, Halloween costumes can be worn any time of year. Wear them for your kink scenes. I don't give a fuck. It's do what you want, fuck gender, fuck seasons, do fucking whatever. Maybe don't wear it to a grocery store. Maybe don't wear the ghost face mask to the grocery store in like July. But outside of that, do what the fuck you want, you know what I mean? Do a hunt dressed up as my personal favorite social media costume of all time, which is Big Titty Gandalf. I think that would be funny as fuck. Just imagine. Imagine you're just like, you're like, okay, wait, this might be the best scene idea I've ever come up with. Okay, listen to this. Sit down. Shut up. I have an idea. What if you did a hunt scene where the person being hunted is dressed up like one of the hobbits, right? They're like Samwise or Frodo, and you've got the ring, and you're being chased after by like sexy Sauron. Just like sexy big titty Sauron is like chasing you through the woods. That shit would be so funny. Or you could be a Nazgul. You could be a Nazgul, or it could be Sauron. It could be either one. I think Big Titty Sauron would be way funnier. But like, you're gonna tell me that shit is not absolutely fucking gold? Come on. Gandalf the Slay. Exactly, Gandalf the Slay. Honestly, just like sexy any villain from like, I don't know, what's the name of the spider? What's the spider? I can't remember. It's with a B. I don't remember. Somebody will put it in the chat. New kink unlocked. My 2-week long slumber has come to an end. I've returned. Egg, welcome, Egg. Glad you could make it. Are you hard boiled now? Are you a pickled egg? Did you get pickled over the last 2 weeks? I'm going to a wild trip. Yeah, the first thing you hear, just imagine you've never watched one of my streams before, and the first thing you hear is me talking about doing a hunt roleplay where you're doing a one-ring roleplay scenario where a big titty Nazgul is chasing you through the woods. Shaylove, yes, thank you, yes. Oh my god, I don't know how you make that sexy, but some sexy spider ladies are a thing. People figure it out. Cosplayers have figured it out. Turned into the Black Centaur egg. Hell yeah, your final form. I love it. The kinky Lord of the Rings is such an untapped. I know, like how? And now that I've thought about this, I'm thinking, what the fuck? How have I not heard of this before? How have I have been to so many camping events. I've been to so many kink conventions. I know everyone there is a fucking autistic nerd and neurodivergent. And like, how has no one ever come up with or executed on the concept of kinky Lord of the Rings? Like, you've got, like, it's interrogation roleplay. Fundamentally, it is interrogation roleplay. Because what is interrogation roleplay? A thing I haven't made a video about, but should. What is it based on? Somebody has information that you want to get out of them. And this could be real information. It could be like suddenly you're just like, bang, tell me this. I know you were here. And you're like, I don't have any fucking information. Or it's sort of like one of those guessing game things where like you come up with something and the Dom has to kind of guess what you're actually thinking in your head, like what you wrote down on a piece of paper. There's ways of doing it. But like, it is like, okay, you're being chased after, you're being pursued, you have this really precious object that like everyone in the world fucking wants and like would kill and die for. How do you not turn that into a kink concept? It's right there. It is so obvious. All right, go forth and make the kinky roleplay happen. Do it. I live in terror of someone being a golem camp. Oh no. Yeah, that would be a little dark, but would be very funny. It would be funny. Oh my god, also like a femdom Galadriel. Oh my god, that would kill people. Femdom Galadriel. They would weep. They would weep. People would weep openly from the beauty of it. Sexy spider ladies equal drow now. Oh wait, yeah, you're right. That's a thing, and it's called drow. You're right. There's also the scene with Frodo being captured by the orcs. Oh, true, yeah. Lots of betrayals, the interrogations, pursuits, chasing, torture. There's a whole mummification scene, right? With Shelob, right? Where like, oh my god, Saran fucking sexy spider lady roleplay. This would get no views, but if I could make a video talking about Lord of the Rings roleplay ideas, would you guys watch it? If you guys heard me riff for like 30 minutes about roleplay ideas based on Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit, would you go for it? Would you watch? And the co-topping scene. Just so many, yeah, co-bottoming scene even with Frodo and Samwise, both getting saran wrapped by a sexy spider lady. Do maybe a little forced intox, little forced intox, saran wrap mummification, sexy spider roleplay scene. That sounds like an SEO, like scare your child on YouTube kind of thing. Elven ABDL. Oh, true, yeah. Remember, if you want me to answer your question, put it in the Q&A feature in the chat. I see, I think Cena put a question in there. If you haven't put it in the Q&A, I recommend putting it in there. Who cares about the views to be you would want to see in the world? As you said, that's true. Well, I have to make money, so I can't just do it for fun. That's, yeah. But maybe maybe I could do it not just, maybe I could do like movie franchise roleplay ideas, like something for Halloween. I think if I spun it into a broader Halloween thing and then I just talked about Lord of the Rings as part of that, I think that would be gold. What else would I include? What franchises are like popping off right now that people would want to like, oh my god, Barbie movie roleplay? Barbie movie roleplay? Lord of the Rings roleplay? I can't even think of what other movies. Demon Slayer, that's currently in theaters. That shit fucking also goldmine for roleplay. Anyways, go forth. I'm so fucking happy turning to this stream. Yeah, I'm glad. Thank you. I'm trying to think any other good ones that are like from the top of the dome. I feel like there's also just sort of the Samwise Frodo like caretaker vibes, like caretaker service topping, like just service, just that whole relationship, man. The whole relationship. Yeah. So yeah. Service and mission, but you're Samwise, you're taking care of Frodo and his dumbass. The Conjuring universe, yeah. K-pop Demon Hunters, which I haven't seen, but that could be fun. We picked the gap of Rohan. This is Rohan. She's in it for use. Yeah. You're just the concept of Rohan. Yeah. Again, questions. If you have a question, put it in the Q&A feature, because if you don't use the Q&A feature, I can't promise I'm going to get to it. But yeah, you know what? All right, you guys have talked me into it. Halloween this year. I'm going to make a video where I talk about maybe more solid versions of Halloween Lord of the Rings ideas. All right. Now I'm going to put it in the group chat. All right, that's going to be stupid. I'm going to be thinking on that one for a while. NFV with the pansexual cowgirl dominatrix ghoul. OMG. Share the load. Yeah, exactly. I can't carry the ring, but I can carry you. Yeah, it's just full of service all over the place. Evie, I will sell you eggs by the dozen for $3 if you make the Halloween video. I'm begging you. Yeah, it'll happen. You guys talked me into it. Oh, yes, yeah. Rohim, pony play. Yes. Oh my God. Yeah. Gotta light the fires, but it's like fire role playing, like pony role play shit. Oh my God. Like, oh, pony players would love that shit. Oh my God. You have like a giant field that you've reserved, and like you've got like, I don't know how to do this. Maybe instead of doing fires, you do like glow sticks, or you do like electric lanterns or something. And you have to oh my, okay, wait. I have another idea. Listen to this. Okay, good. My mind is so beautiful. I'm made for this. I am made to come up with beautiful ideas for you people to execute on. So, okay, pony roleplay idea, Lord of the Rings. Okay, you have to light the fires. We have to go help, right? So how do we do that? All right, we've got a giant field, right? Just get the biggest fuck off field that you can find. Fields of wheat. Maybe somebody's uncle owns an abandoned farm. Okay, whatever, all right? And you start with one place and you light a lantern. And then when the opposite side of the field, another lantern gets lit. You have to go help the people. You have to do a rescue mission for the people that are around. Maybe there's some kind of like capture thing happening. Maybe like there's a princess tied up or whatever. You don't have to make this super like directly to the rings, but the concept of it is based on that. You have to make it all the way over to where the other lantern is. But between point A and point B is an obstacle course that you have to go through, right? You have to go over jumps. You have to do like, what's that discipline called in horseback riding? Not trail, what the fuck is it called? Not water coursing. There's one specific type of like equestrian discipline that's like basically this, where you have to go around obstacles, right? You have to like hop over little rivers, and you have to like go over jumps, and you have to go over little bridges, and then like somebody might capture you, and there's like people who like might chase after you and try to like spook your horse or like lasso you or something. And you have to like get all the way to the other side and then like rescue the person who needs to be rescued, and then you like win. Okay, that shit would be dope as hell. Pony players would love that. Again, steal my idea. That would be amazing. At this point, I think you're describing a LARP. The line between LARPing and BDSM roleplay is a lot thinner than I think either side would like to admit. And I know this factually because at pretty much the exact same time I got into the kink community, like the third person I met in the scene ever introduced me to LARPing, and I did LARPing for like 2 months before I like graduated college. So like I have a lot of experience with it, but it is right there. I know of a book series where there is a cowboy, vampire, pirate. Dressage. No. Dressage. Dressage is like, it's different. This one is, it's out. It's more, it's not just obstacles. You're like it's like something with country. Where you're, fuck, now I'm just gonna look it up because I'm not finding the word that I'm looking for. Fucking, what am I even looking for? I'm just gonna go for Olympic equestrian sports, and that because I know it's on the Olympics. Dressage. Oh, maybe it's eventing. Am I thinking of eventing? Oh, cross country. Yes. Okay. I was like, is it just called the same thing as like humans racing? It's cross country is what I'm thinking of. Okay, that was like more obvious than I thought it was. It was on the tip of my tongue the whole time. Yeah, not the horse dancing one. The other one. The other one. There's so many. Not barrel racing. That would be fun too. What I learned from Oregon Trail: don't dysentery. He'll destroy your booty. Oh my god. Yeah. Yeah, on a spoon, not a real horse, a human horse. First time I went to a dungeon and recognized like 10 people from my LARP there. Yeah. Not shocking, not surprising. All right, questions. I don't even, how the fuck did I start thinking about Lord of the Rings? Oh, I think we were, anyway. God, okay. Do you have any stories about Halloween-themed kink parties or Halloween-themed scenes that you feel comfortable sharing? I do. I actually have a video that I made a couple years ago about one of them. And probably to this day, at one of the first dungeons I went to, this is still like one of my favorite experiences I had for a Halloween-themed party. Because I don't go to a lot of them. I tend to go to like house parties for Halloween stuff now, not dungeon stuff. And so those are kind of just a different vibe. Like kink is there for sure, but it's not like the same thing as a dungeon party. But the Halloween themed kink parties I have gone to in the past have generally been sort of like evil carnival-esque. Like, they'll have like a big buffet. There'll be like Halloween themed hors d'oeuvres and snacks, and then there'll be like a pin cushion or a voodoo doll or somebody that's like strapped down to like one of those like turning wheel table thingies that spin around, and then somebody will do like whips or like throw daggers or something. And there's some things that you can participate in. There's also things for littles. There's like face painting and coloring books, different more general Halloween type events, and generally people are doing more like Halloween themed scenes, and people are encouraged to wear costumes. But I have a whole video where I've talked about that before from a couple years ago, that if you want to watch that, you can. I actually don't tend to do a lot of like, part of the reason why I like sharing heavy roleplay with people is like, I don't tend to do a lot of heavy roleplay in my scenes. Like okay. Depends on how you define roleplay. Like, I just sort of am who I am when I play. Like, I don't get into a character role. I don't pretend to be somebody I'm not. I don't put on a different way of relating to human beings that's radically different than how I actually feel. But there's different aspects of who I am that come out, like the primal side or the puppy side or the service side, and those can be more or less overtly role-y depending on if there's costuming, the theme of the scene, but it's a manifestation of what I actually enjoy doing and what's true to me, less so than putting on an actor playing a role. So I haven't done a lot of like Halloween themed scenes, although I am planning to do one this year at Dark Odyssey Surrender. So when that happens, I'll let you know how it turns out, and hopefully it'll be fun. And actually, I still need to order something to make that work, but I have a lot of, so I don't typically, I'll just kind of give you guys an idea of what I'm thinking. And this might end up being there's a couple different directions that I could go, but I had an idea about this the other day. I was like, oh, that could be really fun to do. Is I wear a lot of Lolita clothing, and I don't typically wear it for kink stuff or like on camera, because as we discussed, Lolitas are typically pretty offended at the idea that people are doing adult activities and then wearing Lolita clothing at like the same time or even on the same day, or it mixes in the same closet as adult paraphernalia. So I don't generally get to wear a lot of Lolita stuff out to kink events. But last time I was at Surrender, I noticed that there were like 3 or 4 other Lolitas there. And so I thought, oh, I should have a day at the con where I wear a cord, and that would be really cute. And then I bought whiteout blind contact lenses. And then recently for Patreon, like a couple days ago, I did a video testing out different like runny mascara eye makeup looks. And I was like, ooh, I could do a really cool, like, crying, like, haunted doll thing. Because there's this makeup stuff I always wanted to try. I think Pat McGrath has it now, but there was runway looks a couple seasons ago, like maybe 2-3 years ago, where people were doing I don't know how they made it. Essentially, people were replicating it using like glue and stuff, but people were creating this like kind of porcelain canvas on their faces to have things appear more doll-like and glassy. And now there's a commercially available version of it that you can just buy, and I thought that would be really cool. So I thought maybe doing some kind of like haunted, creepy doll sort of scene. I thought that could be cool. And then I could wear like the cord and I could have the outfit on. But I have white out blind contact lenses, but I should probably just buy regular like mesh contact lenses so I can actually like wear them during the day and like still be able to see. Because the white out, the blind contact lenses, you actually cannot see shit. So that would be dangerous for going up and down stairs and navigating around people and getting into and out of elevators. But I thought that could be really fun. I don't know exactly what the theme of the scene would be. Originally, one of the ideas I had for the event was doing like some bloodplay stuff. But I think I could probably do it in a way. I was going to probably do face. I was probably going to do face stuff. I was going to do face needles. And that's probably going to get on whatever I wear. So I'm probably not going to wear the Luda cord for that. But it is an interesting idea. So I wouldn't want to have to take off the makeup. I need to be more or less barefaced for that to work. I could probably stuff around my eyes and cheeks if I do stuff on the forehead. But yeah, that's the idea that we're working with currently for Halloween stuff. It'll be more Halloween themed, and I'd love to figure out. Maybe I could do something with bondage actually, like sort of doing more like a ball jointed doll kind of thing, where maybe I've got like Fudomomos and what are they? I always forget the name of the ones that are like the chicken wing ones. Not Tanuki. Maybe it is Tanuki. Doing stuff with like the arms, I think that could be cool. Having kind of be like a fucked up doll look, I think that would be sick as hell. Anyways, those are my ideas. That's what I'm planning on doing. We'll see what actually ends up getting executed. I've actually had a really hard time. There's another thing I'm going to do. Actually, I had a really hard time finding an outfit for it that I'm going to be okay getting blood on. So we'll see. I need more leather booty shorts. They're adorable. I have some pink jean shorts that are ripped at the leg holes. They're great. I think Northbound Leather makes leather shorts. I think. I haven't actually bought any, but I feel like I remember them having leather shorts on their website. And I think you could probably get them custom to have a different inseam if you wanted. Get little 3-inch inseam leather booty shorts. That would be cute. All right, so those are my Halloween scene ideas. This is an interesting one. Have you ever? This is a new one. Have you ever heard of a puffy / down jacket fetish? No, but that doesn't mean that it's not a thing, because originally a lot of latex fetishism came out of people fetishizing Macintoshes or latex raincoats, because that's what it was originally used for. That was one of the most common ways that people saw latex in everyday life, was it was a material that people turned into raincoats. And similarly, if you see a lot of people wearing puffy jackets and you like the look or the silhouette that it creates, I can see that turning into a fetish, because even if I haven't heard of it, answer is anything can be a fetish. People have fetishes. My favorite example is a story from Tumblr from somebody that's really into bartering. Like the concept of bartering, not over sex, but like being a medieval peasant bartering over the price of fish at the market. Like that is what the process of bartering and like getting a deal and being denied. When you stop and think about it, you can kind of see the threads of why somebody might make that erotic, because there's tension. There's tension in that. There's a back and forth. Like, I can see it. I can see where that's going. It makes as much sense as any other part of human sexuality to me, honestly. But similarly, articles of clothing, early associations, repetition, tactile sensation, whether that's hosiery, lingerie, latex, shoes. I've had partners, I've had people in my life that have fetishes for sneakers, sundresses, latex. Like, if it's a thing that goes on a person's body, whether it's very concealing or very revealing, somebody's probably into it and it's a thing for them. So I haven't heard of it. I don't know how you would play with that in a kink context. I don't know. I don't have any personal relationship to it whatsoever, but I can see that being a thing, and it is valid. So there you go. Yeah, if you're not wearing something 100% cotton, the blood will stain. Well, I don't care about it staining necessarily. Well, actually, there's a lot of Alita stuff that's 100% cotton, so that's actually not totally unworkable. But it's like, do I care if it gets stained? Is the better question. Because some things I would not care if it got stained, and it would be a little memento. But it's the right. I'm trying to find the right color, and something that's sacrificial. Because normally I just wear all black, but I want something that's going to have the blood visible on it, that will last, that I can maybe keep, but I don't think I look very good in white clothing, and so I want something that's kind of off-white, either like more like a bone color or like a dishwater gray, somewhere in kind of the very slightly off-white family is what I'm looking for. Mm-hmm. Favorite thing about kink / LOCKTOBER, like all of kink and just LOCKTOBER. I guess I can answer both of those. I need water, actually. I need water because I have had almost the last of this, and I realized drinking this that I've not actually had enough liquids today, like at all. So I'm gonna get a glass of water real quick, and we'll be right back, and then we'll talk about favorite thing about kink / also LOCKTOBER, and do a little 2-for-1 here. My fetish is, what is that? Feminine headbands. Now I get to wear them for my dom, and they make me feel good. Oh, yeah. I could, like, kind of like a 60s sort of look, maybe. Yeah, cute. I can see that. All right. Water has been obtained. And we're ready. All right. So we were talking about favorite thing about kink / LOCKTOBER. I'm looking at something specifically that's a neutral, not a color. Why is our fluff ball so shy today? Because she's just warm. She's just trying to keep warm. It's a little chilly. She like alternates what spots that she likes. Oh, actually, I've gotten up already, so I might like just move it if she's gonna be there. Hi, baby. In the camera a little bit. Can't see her that well, but you can see a little bit of her little teeny little foxy face. So what is my favorite thing about kink? That's a really good question. My gut reaction to that is I like I made a video about this a little while ago, but there's a concept that I think has been basically since the time I discovered it really important in conceptualizing the way that I think about kink and what I get out of it, and it's seclusion. And the idea behind seclusion is like totally accepting somebody and being receptive in an active way that is about not just being somebody who's getting penetrated or being acted upon, because originally seclusion comes from like feminism and like it's talking about heterosexual intercourse mostly, but I've adopted it as a kink idea it's about the power of receptivity. And I think for me, getting to play with that, getting to be in a space where I get to be totally vulnerable with the person and somebody's able to be totally vulnerable to me back in a mutual way where we're both trying to get our needs met, we're both being totally honest with each other, that to me is so deeply rewarding to just get to let all of your, not literally, right, not literally all of your guards down. There's things you want to keep your wits about you on, especially for new partnerships, but the concept behind it is vulnerability and authenticity and getting to be your true, honest self to the fullest extent possible that we really get a chance to be with other human beings that exist outside of societal expectations and norms, where you're not worried about performing a certain way. You're not worried about the pressure of what you're supposed to be or who you're supposed to be into or what you're supposed to look like or anything like that. It's all totally, you get to write the rules. You get to be who you want, and the person that you're with gets to see that and accept that, and you get to do the same thing for them. And I think that space of acceptance and vulnerability and just essentially radical acceptance of who you are, asking other people to do that for you and to you to do that the same in return, like that, it can exist in vanilla relationships, but I think kink generally does that at a much deeper level that you can do in a vanilla relationship. And for me, that's very satisfying. It gives me a way to step off of the relationship escalator, a chance to step away from social expectations of what relationships are supposed to look like. And that is just like super rewarding, and I wouldn't have it any other way. So that's probably my favorite thing about kink. My favorite thing about Locktober, my favorite thing about Locktober, and I don't personally participate in Locktober, but I support people who do, is I think like holidays and rituals are really fun, and I feel like this is the only kind of like kink holiday that we have where it's specifically a kink thing for the kink community, where people are intentionally trying something new. Like, it's almost like, and this sounds really weird, but Catholics, hear me out, it's kind of like the kink version of Lent. Yeah, it's kind of like Lent. All right, you're giving up something that's really important to you to make a sacrifice intentionally. You know, you're not suffering for Christ or anything, right? You're not trying to do anything redemptive per se, unless maybe you're doing some kind of religious role play with it. But it's about challenging yourself, learning more about your body, doing something intentionally on your own or with a partner. And I think that's really nice to have a built-in time where if you've wanted to try something, it's also like NaNoWriMo, I guess. So there's other things in life, there's more or less serious things that are similar to this. But I just like they do this like a kink holiday that's annual that comes around. There's a community around it, and it gives you a chance maybe to try a new kink that you haven't previously done before, or gives you a way to introduce the thing to a partner that maybe you're excited about in a less committal way. Like, if you're into the idea of being locked up, but your partner isn't really sure about it, just trying something for Locktober, like, oh, hey, it's Locktober. Like, I found this thing online about, like, you know, getting started with chastity for Locktober. Can we maybe try it? Like, it just gives you an easy in. So I think there's lots of just benefits to it that help people with their relationships, and I love that. It's Lent if Lent had Super Lent afterwards, yeah. yeah. Oh yes, yeah. With no Nut November, yeah, because it's Locktober and then No Nut November. Yeah, if you're doing both of those, yeah. Like Catholics, you thought you knew suffering, get ready. Honey, you got a big storm coming, and the big storm is somebody who hasn't come in 2 months. Although, I guess Locktober does not necessarily mean that you don't have orgasm, because if you are somebody, is it okay? People, a question for the culture. No Nut November. If you have a penis and you can dry orgasm, like if you can separate orgasm from ejaculation, is this a letter of the law versus spirit of the law situation? Is this what it is? Because I think technically, if you wanted to brag about it, if you had the ability to separate ejaculation from orgasm as a person with a penis, you could technically have an orgasm without ejaculating, and then you wouldn't be breaking the rules of No Nut November, I think. Because to me, though I hate the word nut in the context, it's repulsive and disgusting to me. I hate using the word nut in relation to sexuality. It grosses me out. But to me, that has a connotation of releasing fluid specifically, as opposed to just having an orgasm in general. That really lead to, oh my God, that would really lead to a white Christmas. No, Kopesh, no. No. If I ever... Now I'm just thinking of somebody jerking off onto a Christmas tree, and I just don't want to. I just don't want to think about that. Oh my God. Oh no. I'm not suffering for Christ, but I'm suffering for my dom, and she is basically a god. That is adorable and beautiful. Or it could be redemptive if you're kinky Christian. True, that is a potential approach that you could do if you are somebody who's kink. If you feel like that lines up with your Christianity, more power to you. I love how some people renamed October to Locktober when I'm renaming it to Musictober for this year. I'm feeling out some music-based subcultures. Heck yeah. A 50-50 split. Mm-hmm. No November is about orgasms and ejaculation. That's why females can do No November. Oh, true. I guess I've only ever really seen No November in the context of like manosphere people who are like, preserve your masculine power, stop ejaculating, and then they do like before, they have like a shitty before and after picture where it's like before and they're like haggard and gray and gone, and then like the after picture is like they're glowing and their skin's perfect and they've got beautiful hair, and it's like, you just like slept a little bit more because you weren't staying up until 3 a.m. masturbating. That's what happened. It wasn't your sleep schedule got better. The masturbation was a total side part of that equation. It's if you were a middle of the day jerker offer, you probably wouldn't have made much of a difference. Oh my God, there was a cult in New York dedicated to dry orgasms. The what the fuck? The Oneida community? Oneida? Orida. That's not it. What is that? That sounds familiar. I'm. Oh yeah, wasn't that? Yeah, wasn't that isn't that a First Nations group? Oneida? I think it's Oneida. What was that? Oneida, what? I lost it already. January. Oh no, we're gonna bring back jizz. That was around as jizz was around as a phrase in like 2012, and then we all forgot about it. I do like. Okay, let's just. All right, so we have Locktober for October. We have No Nut November for November. And then January is Orgasm Torture Month. I think we can all agree. I think January is Orgasm Torture Month. So can December be Orgasm Denial Month? Can we have Orgasm Denial Month? What would that be called? How do we combine Orgasm Denial and either Christmas or December as a month? Maybe something with Yule, potentially even. Something with Yule. I don't know. Workshop it. Goonsember? Oh my God. Goonsember. We're all going to hell. I mean, we do worship Satan, so it's fine. Oh, it's because of the city. I see. Oh, okay. Okay, that makes sense. I was like, I'm sure I'd heard of it before. But now I'm looking it up. Oh my God. Oh my, wait, no, it's an old cult. I assume this was like a 60s thing. This is like an old cult. Listen to this. It was a community that was a 19th century religious utopian society founded in upstate New York by, of course, who else but John Humphrey Noyes. A classic name if ever I've heard one for a cult leader. Known for its radical social and sexual practices, it was one of many experimental communities that emerged during the Burned Over District revivalism of the era. I don't know what that means. The community thrived for over 30 years before it dissolved and transitioned to a successful silverware company. Wait, what? Oneida Limited. I don't believe that. I think that's you. I think Google's fucking with me on that one. Okay, so they have some of their ideas included Christian perfectionism. Great. Noyes and his followers believed that the second coming of Christ had already occurred in 70 AD. They sought to establish a sinless kingdom of heaven on earth through their communal lifestyle and religious perfectionism. I mean, damn, they were like, no, Jesus already happened, man. he's pieced out by now. And communally raised children. They had complex marriage. This was the community's most controversial. Oh, were they also like polyamorous? This is the community's most controversial practice. Noyes taught the monogamous marriage was a form of course. It's crazy crazy. How many men start cults and are like, actually, what if I had sex with 2 women? Every time. He taught that monogamous marriage was a form of selfish ownership and that all members of the community were married to one another. Oh, okay, well that's... I mean, that could be worse. Like, he wasn't just like, and then I, the cult leader, get to have 5 wives and you don't get any. While free love was encouraged, there was a strict social hierarchy. For instance, Noyes himself, Joyce, who could procreate through a program called stirrupiculture, which, parentheses, eugenics, oh Jesus, and older members sometimes mentored younger ones in sexual practices. Oh, pedophilia and eugenics at the end there. Slide those in. Great. And male continence to prevent unwanted pregnancies. Men practice coitus reservatus, a form of birth control that involved avoiding ejaculation. Oh, that's where the orgasm denial comes in. Mutual criticism. Oh no, this sounds like cult shit again. In order to purify members' souls, individuals would undergo a public session where they would listen silently while others pointed out their character flaws and shortcomings. Amazing how this hits every point of every cult from the 60s. Every plural marriage, sexual restrictions, pederasty, and public ridicule and shaming. To me, every cult's like, I have an idea. What if we shamed people sexually? And then they think that's going to work. No, I need January because it's my birthday month. Okay. The Dom gives a sub an advent calendar where every day is a crazy hard task on the door. Yeah, they're polyamorous. CBT Timber. I mean, that has CBT Sember. Okay. On the first day of jizz was my true love gave to me. Okay, that actually kind of goes. My first day of Jizz-miss. This is what God would have wanted. This is what Jesus wants for his this is what Hogfather wants for Hogsmith. No, that one is true. You can still find this over with. That's crazy. That's amazing. I love it. I'm here for it. You know what? I'll join this cult. I'll revive it and then I'll join it. I'll make it better, and it won't involve eugenics, and it won't involve teaching children about sex inappropriately. How about that? Wow, what an experience. Okay, again, if you want me to answer your questions, put them in the question box, because, oh boy, what an experience. CBT temper, yeah, I think we're onto something there. But we should have something inclusive for the femme folks and the people without balls to torture. In fairness to the Oneida community, they prioritized female orgasms, which for the 19th century particularly was kind of based. Oh, yeah. I didn't read that part, but yeah. It's like, well, kind of everyone in the 19th century did a little eugenics, especially in America. Like, that was kind of a thing that we were just into, except for maybe the Quakers. So, I get it. It was popular. Every cult's going to have a little bit of that. But the female orgasm thing, that is a unique feature. That is a little side bonus. And I'm for it. I think that's good. They, maybe they made that because they were like, oh, female orgasms are nice. And I feel like godly when I give my wife an orgasm. So therefore, I would feel more godly if I gave more women orgasms. And maybe because combination of the pleasure of giving a woman an orgasm combined with like post-nut clarity where he's like, oh shit, God's saying we should not be coming. Because when I come, I feel bad afterwards, and that probably means that we shouldn't do it. Whereas my wife feels fucking great when she gets her rocks off, so that must mean it's godly. Maybe that's what happened. That's my headcanon for how that got invented. He has just really, really bad, not even post-nut clarity, but like post-nut dysphoria or something. Maybe not dysphoria. What am I thinking of? Not disassociation. Some word like that. He just like post-nut depression, I guess. I don't know. God knows women have orgasms. That's what I think. Listen, if God didn't want women to have orgasms, he wouldn't have put the clit there, all right? Done. That's it. Whole argument, one sentence. If God didn't want women to have orgasms, he would not have made the clitoris. Everything is perfectly done by God's design. He made our human bodies in his image, all right? That's not a devil thing. He put that there. It's on purpose. And that's what I hear from the Christian. Oh my God. When I was in high school, I had some family friends who were Christian. I mean, my family's Christian too, but I had like real Protestant Christian family friends. And they gave marriage support stuff to other Christian married couples. And that shit was all about sex. Oh my God. It was all about like the pleasures of the marital bed. I'll tell you that. No one talks about sex more than a Protestant Christian family. They love talking about God's perfect plan and design for husband and wife and yada, yada, yada. And just, well, it worked for them. Amen, sister. Yeah. Flog you, Ari. Yeah, so many options. It was during the Victorian period that people started to doubt the female orgasm. Well, there is a really interesting podcast. I think it's called The Secrets of Victorian Sex, and Stephen Fry narrates it. Although, isn't Stephen Fry transphobic? I feel like he's from the Turf Island, so he probably is. He said something that made me go, oh, I'm disappointed. Not that I really was a fan of his to begin with, but he's a famous narrator, nonetheless, of the podcast. And my understanding is, at least based off of that, and not doing my own primary research on the topic historically, is that like female orgasm was definitely a thing that Victorian, especially like lay people, knew about. It was something that actually was considered like relatively important for the production of like happy children in Victorian England. And the idea is like, well, orgasms make women feel happy. And so if you make women feel happy, then they're going to have happy babies. And if you want to have happy, healthy children, you got to make sure your wife gets her rocks off. So like, chop, chop, get to town, buddy. So I think like that's an oversimplified version of it, but there was I think after that period and amongst certain religious movements, for sure, absolutely. And in America, it's a different story, but Victorian England, there were beliefs about the necessity of the female orgasm, unless I'm mistaken about that. Of course, there was lower class, working class people versus upper class, different thing there. Vaginas for the win. Stephen Fry did more recently condemn J.K. Rowling and her stance on trans people. Okay, good. See, that makes sense. I mean, for Victorian logic, when we didn't even, like, we wouldn't even, like, do surgery, wouldn't do, like, post-mortem research. We didn't know the structure of the clitoris until, like, I fucking kid you not, like, 15 years ago. Like, maybe, like, yeah, 15 years ago, that's when we knew that shit for real, and we, like, mapped it on MRI. It took us a long time socially to get to that point, but, like, it makes sense, all right? Well, my wife was miserable when I came in her, so of course our children are unhappy. It's, like, such a wild take. Like, imagine the shame, the social shame of you have, like, a melancholy child. And, like, everyone's like, damn, you didn't know how to please your wife, did you? That's so funny. Like, your child is sickly and upset all the time, and it's like, well, did you do your husbandly duty per the Bible? No? Well, there's your problem. I've never seen The Wicker Man, so if I'm referencing it, it's by accident. There's a TikToker who does kinky facts of history who has a video on that. It was great. Oh, really? Something on TikTok that was worthwhile? Who knew? There is a rumor that HBO might make Voldemort a woman in the new Harry Potter series, so when Voldemort possesses Quirrell, there'll be a woman trapped in a man's body. I know. No, I can't do that. I did see somebody make a meme poster that put who's the gal that's playing in Wicked? Who's playing the Wicked Witch? I saw somebody fan cast her as that as a joke, and I thought that was kind of funny. But also, like, let her be something that's, let her not be associated with J.K. Rowling, please. The medical world doesn't prioritize women's health. Shocked. Well, and women's pleasure, right? Because the clitoris doesn't have anything to do with health necessarily, but just, you know, just women feeling good. Studying that. No. Seems too complicated. Listen, if she doesn't blast off from the fact that there's her clit in the general area of her clit for like 10 seconds, it's because she's gay. Like, she's just not into me. It's like, well, my wife, she must be gay because I touched her once and it didn't do anything, so it wasn't my fault. I tried, all right. I have to double check. I'm basing this off my memories of Intimate Matters, A History of Sexuality in America, but the book is a bit old and does focus on the U.S. over England. Oh, yeah, I think, especially because Puritan culture obviously has a much stronger, long-lived history in America than it ended up having in the U.K., I think it would make sense to me that America culturally would be sexually in a very different place than England at that point in time. So yeah, it's a fair point. Because obviously when I think Victorian era, I'm thinking of England. I'm not necessarily thinking of America, because the corollary to that in America would be as pre-Civil War. Well, I don't even know what that era would be called. Sort of like the gold standard era. It's like westward expansion era, maybe. Westward expansion era. The 1820s. Is there a term for that? Like, 1820s America. What would that be? The era of good feelings. And we had the War of 1812, obviously, that was earlier. And then we get later. The Victorian era was what? It was like, it was so long. It was like, what, like 1825 or like 1830 to like 1900. It's a lot of American history in there. So what was like 1840s USA? What was the term for that? Oh, Manifest Destiny, a continental expansion. Okay, yeah, that was like a Mexican-American War, Oregon Trail. Okay, all that stuff, yeah. We were doing different things over in America. We were giving people smallpox, probably. I mean, the medical field used to think sexually assaulting women could heal hysteria, just gross and creepy on so many levels. Oh, yeah. Antebellum. No, antebellum would be later. That depends on what part of the Victorian era you're talking about. But no, because antebellum would be later. And it's also specific to the South. Yeah, because that was anywhere, that was anywhere from like 1812 to like 1861. So yeah, that's a little, yeah. But it doesn't really apply to like New York, right? If we're talking about antebellum New York. Well, maybe people do, I don't know. Yeah, we had a bunch of different shit going on. Victorian era was a lot more congealed. 1837 to 1901. Okay, well, I mostly remembered. All right. A question from Jency. I have tried to find a muzzle or something for pet play that makes it look like a nose. Something that works with fuzzy ears. I don't like pup masks. I have no idea where to look. Okay, so a muzzle. So I'll link it in the chat. The thing I know is close to that is from Emma Alamo. And if you get one without ears, if you have ears on a headband or clip-on ears, you can either layer it with ears on a headband or you can clip on the ears to the top headband part of it. I'm going to try to find a link to that. Let's see. The accessories, maybe? What category would this be under? It might also not be on her website now that I think about it. Oh, no, it is. Okay, yeah, they actually have two. They have two models. Oh, actually, they have two. Okay, I'll just link the accessory section because they have one that's like more of a flatter face and then one has a bit more of a projected profile to it. And I think all of them have ears. But you might be able to message them to get a modification to have it be without ears if you want to wear your own with it. There's also like really cute like face harnesses, but I don't wear face harnesses. My chin is too short. I don't think they look very flattering, personally speaking. But there's lots of cute ones on there. They do have a biothane phone strap. That actually would be nice to have. but I'm so rarely only with my phone and like not wearing anything else. Anyways, I'll link the accessories thing and you can just look at the options on there. That's the only one that I know of, is the one from Emma Alamo that comes to my mind immediately. But some kind of like leather face mask. Yeah, and they're really good. I love Emma Alamo. They make stuff in biothane as well. It's really good quality. And I've met them in person a couple times, and they usually vend at bigger kink events. They've been at Folsom Street Fair before as well. I've been tasting for months. Yeah, and Emma does really good work. If you wanted something that was modified, if you do see them at an event, I would talk to them in person. I don't know how good they are about like answering custom requests to their website. I think they're usually pretty busy for that. But if you're buying something, a lot of pro tip for if you're buying leather in person, a lot of people that make leather garments, they'll bring their leather stuff with them to the event so they can make modifications and size adjustments. So if you buy a harness or a face mask or something, if the straps are like a little bit too long, or you want something really quickly added, like an extra ring or something, they can just do it right there, like in a couple minutes. And I've had that a couple times because usually like collars are a little bit too big for me, or harnesses are a little bit too big. And it's really nice not having to send something in after an event to like get something modified to actually fit me or pay extra. So yeah, that's would be what I would recommend. And they're still like mask-like, but they're not the same as like a Mistress leather hood. And it's not a hood. I'm out of water again. Phoenix asks, hey Evie, I'm 25, only a few months into my submissive journey. I'm trying anything others suggest. How else do I see what I'm into? Oh, I just wrote this down as a video idea, so I'm glad you bring this up because this is something that I've been noodling on. Going to my first taster tomorrow. Any advice or pointers? So my rough approximation that I've kind of sketched out for how do you know what you're going to be into? How do you know what you like? It depends on what you're coming into the scene with. I think if you are somebody who has fantasized about kink for a very long time, you probably have a pretty good idea of stuff that you might be into, whether it's like power exchange or masochism, and specific acts within that you might enjoy, whether it's like service or flogging or spanking. But you don't know what physically you're going to enjoy until you actually try it. And so I think going to a taster is a great first idea of where to start with that. And I think if you end up hitting it off really well with either one of the tops who are there, or you really like one of the types of scenes that you do, like maybe you do like a wax play thing and you're like, whoa, I love wax play. This is so fun. This is right up my alley. You can talk to the top that you're playing with and you can tell them, or even like if you don't have time for a conversation, then you can like message them afterwards, or like as things are wrapping up, you can say, hey, like I love getting to the wax play scene. Is there anything else that you would like suggest for me to try that you think I might also be into? Like maybe you're really into wax play and it's because you like extreme temperature stuff. So maybe you might be into fire cupping, or you might be into fire flushing, or maybe you want to try like a different kind of wax, or maybe it's more about the decorative element. So maybe you'd want to try like body writing, for example, or maybe it's about the pain of it. Maybe you'd be into something like electroplay. So finding things that are related kinks, I think talking to tops and seeing what they also like to play with, and what bottoms who like the same kind of things that you are into, like what else they bring into scenes with them. But there's so many kinks out there that honestly sometimes the only way you're going to know is just by trying it. So yeah, probably just, I think going to more taster events, talking to people, doing little sampler scenes here and there. And then if you do like stuff, trying to find things that are as closely related to it as possible. So if you like spanking, kind of evaluating, why am I into this? What about it am I into? Is it the role play aspect of it? Is it the vulnerability? Is it being exposed? Because if it's more of the vulnerability being exposed, maybe you're more into emotional sadomasochism and humiliation and punishment. Whereas if it's more the physical sensation, maybe you're more of a traditional physical masochist, and maybe you'd also like to try things like a hairbrush paddle, or a leather paddle, or some other kind of more traditional corporal punishment tool. So that's more or less how I would go about it. I think it's also a really good idea to keep some kind of either running journal or notes as you're going along. And I realize now that I've been saying, like, I recommend to people to use journals a lot. And I'm realizing when I say it that maybe when people say, when I say keep a journal, you can, if you're a person who would naturally do this. If you want to write paragraphs and stories and write down all your memories and make it a really involved process, you can do that. But you can also just have a journal that is like a 1-sentence top line summary of what you experienced. So if you went to a tasting and you tried flogging and you loved it, you can just say, you can write a diary entry, you can do a journal entry, or keep a note to yourself that's something to the effect of, you know, October 5th, I got to try flogging and I had a fantastic time. It felt super relaxing and like I was getting a massage. That's all you really need to do. You don't have to do the whole story. You don't have to do the background. You can just do that. I think that actually is easier to maintain than doing a more traditional, like, thoughts on paper type of journal. And then when you know, okay, why did I enjoy this? If you can reflect on why did I like it? What about it was appealing to me? What was my mental headspace at the time? Like with the flogging massage part, okay, maybe you might like erotic massage or sadistic massage. Maybe you like thuddy impact play. Maybe you like deep tissue play. Maybe you like playing with pressure points. Maybe you like really involved, enveloping sensations as opposed to something that's more precise and pinpoint. So lots of options with that of how I go about it. All right, 15-minute warning. Thank you, Sean, for giving us the 15-minute warning. I was just about to say it myself. So if you have not put your question in the chat yet, I recommend that you do because we only have 15 minutes left. And I'm going to try to get to as many people as possible, but I can't promise it because sometimes questions take a while to answer. Well, I just looked it up and Emma Alamo came up for me too. Yes. Yeah, they're really good. I don't know how long I can hang around, but I at least want to say hi and I miss everybody. Oh, Kaylin, hi. Hope you've been doing well. Thanks for popping in. I hope you are doing well. Journaling has been so useful for me, making my impressions and thoughts easier to contemplate on. 10 out of 10 would recommend. Yeah, and also if you're not a writing person, you can keep little like notes. You can keep little audio recording notes. You can get a recording app on your phone and just do little voice notes to yourself. I have partners that some of them prefer phone calls, some of them prefer voice notes back and forth during the day because it's easier for them over text message. So, like, I'm a texter. I like texting. I like sending longer messages. I like having my thoughts down on paper. I am, I wrote like probably 25,000 words this week. Like, writing is not hard for me. But I know other people where like they really struggle with that. And so even having to write a couple sentences and just think about how to put the thoughts in their head onto paper is really hard. But if they could talk it out loud, either with another person or if they could just talk to themselves into a phone and record that and then play it back to themselves later, it makes it way easier. So like do what works. Don't like journaling doesn't have to look one way. It's more about having the practice of reflection and solidifying something. It's a learning process to do this. You're trying to, like, when we're learning, and I don't have a teaching degree, so, if somebody here is, like, correct me, but my understanding is solidifying information comes through repetition and through engaging with it in different forms. So it's having a physical experience, it's thinking about the physical experience, and then writing down your thoughts about the physical experience. So you're getting kind of 3 layers that are all squishing that into your mind and layering it together to make it more likely to stick. And this is also why when you're learning something, like engaging in as many different modes of learning, so doing like listening and speaking and writing all at the same time, like helps keep more information in your brain if you're a person who learns well through that, which not everyone is. Sometimes people are more tactile and stuff like that. All the things about rewriting items and using different symbols and so on from bullet journals, they revolutionized my to-do list. And thank you. Alas, I've not been doing well. Oh, no, health stuff and setting off my chronic fatigue, lots of admin work. Oh, no, I'm so sorry. Oh, God, that sucks, especially, with the weather change. I don't know if that's related at all, but it's, I have people in my life that are going through the same. It happens. Health is a journey. I have a friend that's going through some. They were doing better, and then health stuff happens, and suddenly best laid plans. You can't do what you wanted to do, and that sucks. Alrighty. And what you are more of one that thinks in pictures but have suggestions. Oh, okay, wait. Maybe this is a follow-up thing. Let me read this more carefully. And what I'm processing this. And what you are more of one that thinks in pictures but have struggles to put it down. Wait. So I think what you're saying is, if you are somebody who thinks more in pictures instead of words, and you have struggles in order to be able to put it down somewhere, what do you do? You know, that's so contrary to how my brain works. I'm not fully sure of what I would do for that, but I feel like doodling is a powerful tool. Doodling, maybe doing something with like stickers. Maybe instead of like writing down how your day went, maybe use stickers to indicate like different emotional states, or how you felt about something, or how intense you felt something. That might be an avenue for you. Using different colors, maybe like, you know, red means I had a rough day emotionally. Purple meant I was really excited about something. Blue meant I was kind of down. Like, there's different ways I think you could maybe take advantage of like color coding and visual communication tools, but that's not how my brain works. So I'm not really sure what would be the best way to approach that. But if other people have a way of doing that, I would love to hear. Because I'm sure there has to be like how to do visual journaling has to be a thing, right? Like, visual, if I just Google visual journaling, what does that look like? Oh, yeah, okay, yeah, there's definitely people who are doing like, there's definitely words still for people, but it's more based on the creative process of the journal and kind of the emotions you feel while you're doing the doodling and the drawing process. Interesting. Yeah, it's like art. It's like art journaling. Or like a sketchbook diary, kind of. I think this is more about like reflecting emotional experiences as opposed to like, you know, keep up with your art, do something creative every day, yada yada. I think it's less that. How do you think in pictures? I often don't think in sentences, but I think in lesser web of words with lines connecting things rather than grammar. I guess I would, I mean, how do you think in pictures? It's funny actually, because I basically think in like movies in my head, like full dialogue, full audio, full like the full pictures, kind of full everything. But again, literally movie in my head. But I can think of words on a page. But I tend to think more in sounds, like I'm self-talking as opposed to looking at a written word. But I do sometimes too. If I'm remembering like reading a book, I'll think of like the words on the page, for example, and kind of turn those into an image. But I don't have trouble translating that visual auditory experience into something written. But yeah, it's like a photograph or like a movie. Yeah, like if I'm yeah, it's like, yeah, visualizing essentially a movie happening in my head. But I don't have the ability to translate. I find it a lot easier to translate that into something written in words versus trying to make a picture out of it, because I just don't have the artistic skill presently to be able to do that. But I bet if I practiced, because people say art is a practice as much as a talent, it is something that I could probably learn how to do if I wanted to. Webs is a great way of explaining it with sidetracks related to. Yeah. It's interesting how we all have like just different ways. Yeah, some people don't think in pictures. Some people just think in sound. Not even just people that are like deaf and blind and stuff, but like, yeah, some people think in just words. Some people think in like concepts, but don't have sounds or words attached to it. It's very interesting. There's studies about this of cognition and like how people think about thinking, and like how people visualize in their own heads or don't visualize in their own heads. I think the majority of people have some kind of visualization if they're not vision impaired, but there's still different ways of doing it. Sometimes my thoughts have soundtracks. Sometimes they do. Yeah. I often have music. I've had "Drag Me Under" by Sleep Token stuck in my head this whole time. I've had the instrumental version the entire time we've been streaming. I've had the instrumental version of "Drag Me Under" by Sleep Token playing on a loop in my head. So yes, my thoughts do have a soundtrack. Not just even in like words or songs getting stuck in my head, but like certain thoughts will bring up music that I associate with the types of thoughts that I'm having. I don't know how normal that is, though. I feel like people talk about getting songs stuck in their head a lot, so I feel like it's normal, but maybe it's not. I don't know. I wanted to ask if it would be a decent idea, this is from Dude. I wanted to ask if it would be a decent idea to see a therapist before getting into scene/play party level of things. A bit of context, I have attended a munch and a few classes as well. So, that's a good question. It's a tough one because there are very few situations in which I don't think it would be a good idea to see a therapist. Like if you've been traumatized by therapy before, that's going to take working up to. If you can afford it, if you have the time, if you would just want to see how it is, I think having a therapist, especially somebody who is kink aware, could be a good idea. But it can be cost prohibitive. It might be something that you'd have to make extra time for during your week. It can be hard to find somebody that is a kink-aware therapist on your insurance who's taking new patients. So I don't think you need to have one. I think it can be a good idea, especially if you don't have like a social community, if you don't have a support network, if you don't have a lot of friends you can talk to about kink. Having a sounding board that you can talk to about your experiences in an objective and non-judgmental way is a good idea. So I think it's a thing that you could consider doing, but I would not necessarily say that you have to have it. Now, if you're somebody where maybe you have a history of, like maybe you had a DS relationship that went really sideways, if you experienced abuse, if you have trauma around kink, if you have triggers that could come up in a kink environment, like sudden loud noises, for example, I think going to a therapist, if you haven't already, could be something that's beneficial for you, but not a requirement by any means. I would just generally encourage people, like on the whole, like I think therapy is good for so many things. And if you're a human being that has survived to adulthood, there's probably something that you could work out in a therapeutic setting. I don't want to make it seem like you need to have been therapized to be ready to do kink. It's just, I think, a good idea. All right, see you, Sean. Thank you so much, as always, for your gifts. You're so appreciated. Good night, and I will also see you on Monday. Yeah, I think it's called being aphasic. Or fantastic or something. There's words for it. I also definitely don't have a perfect pitch by any means. Music can make my brain go off when I start thinking about something because music inspired me. I also don't have any musical talent. I don't know how to... I know a little bit. I learned how to play piano when I was a kid. I don't have perfect pitch. I don't have any natural music inclination whatsoever. It's all a mystery to me. Aw, Benita, you look so sweet. My lovely girl, look at you. All my life would be, if I couldn't hear music in my head at all, because I can like basically perfectly recreate songs in my head, which is annoying that I can't translate that into like actually being able to play music. But I can more or less, as far as I'm aware, at least one-to-one recreate parts of songs, if not whole songs front to back. Some songs I can't. If it's something I listen to a lot, I can basically play the whole song in my head, which is nice when you can't listen to music because your headphones die. You're at the gym. You're like, all right, I'm just gonna play my own music in my head. Oh, now I'm just thinking about how the new T Swift album came out today, and I bet Twitter is a mess. I'm glad I'm not in that fandom today. Is cosplay a kink, or is it another parallel thing? Cosplay alone is not a kink. It is not a sex thing, it's not an adult thing, it's not a kink thing. It is just enjoyment from dressing up as characters and or the creative experience of making costumes. And for some people, kink overlaps with cosplay. You can include cosplay in your kink. You can do cosplay in a kinky way. You can do kinky versions of cosplay. But it's not a kink by itself. Unless, there's probably, caveat to that. There are probably some people that their kink is doing cosplay, like their partner dressing up as like Daphne from Scooby-Doo or Willow from Buffy the Vampire Slayer would like be arousing and turn them on, and they want to do a roleplay scene based around that. But the communities are separate. There's some overlap, like Frolicon. Like there's communities where you're gonna see both furries too, which is like furries cosplay, kind of. I feel like furries and cosplay overlap. Maybe people make a bold line there, but I'm not sure. All right, I'm going to do one more question, and then I think that's going to be it. Could look this up, but what specifically is Locktober? Is it all about chastity, chastity cages, chastity bells, or something else? So Locktober is about engaging in chastity intentionally for the month of October. The typical goal is to be locked up for the entire month or as much of the month as possible. I have a video about this that I made, I think, last year where I go into it in more detail, but that is the general vibe. Oh, there's that fly that's been like buzzing around, and for some reason, specifically my desk area for the last day. All right, actually, it was a short one. I'm going to do one more, I think. I have a question. I'm going to a first taste, and I'm a bit nervous. Do you have any suggestions on how to become less nervous? I think for me, what helps me be less nervous before an event is just like make sure I really understand the rules, picking out my outfit ahead of time, seeing who's going to be there, like kind of creeping on FetLife a little bit and see, okay, who's going to be there, putting names to faces a little bit. Making sure I've read everything about the event that I can, try to look up photos. And then set expectations for myself in my head about what I'm going to do and what I'm looking for. So if I'm going to a first event, if I've never been to somewhere in that community before, I usually just want to scope it out. I don't generally want to play or even necessarily meet new people. I just say, all right, I'm going to go. I'm going to get there early. And my only goal for tonight, I will have a successful night if I go to the event space, I check it out, I get a read on the vibe. I don't have to talk to anybody. I don't have to make any new friends. I don't have to play. My only goal that will make this successful is just going there and seeing what it's like. And I think setting really realistic expectations will help you be less nervous, because then you're not in a position of pressure of like, well, what if I do if this happens? Because now you don't have any expectations. You can just do what you want. If you want to do more, if you do want to go beyond that, you can. But you don't feel like you're going to be a failure if you don't, like, you know, say yes to every experience, or if somebody doesn't talk to you, because that wasn't the goal. You weren't trying to make BFFs. You weren't trying to meet the love of your life. You were just going there to like see what was going on, see what it would be like. And maybe do one thing, maybe try one tasting, maybe get one name. So I think having a clear goal in mind, and also like mentally practicing going through the experience and visualizing success in that experience can really help too. And this goes for like anything in life, whether it's like an interview or going on a first date or going to a kink event, whatever it is. Visualize yourself succeeding at that experience, which feels a little bit like wishy-washy, but like there is like data to back up doing this. This is like a DBT skill. I think it's DBT. I don't know for sure, but I learned this as part of doing DBT therapy. And if it's not in the book, it overlaps. And it's actually something. Actually, I've also heard this in workout books. Like one of the weightlifting books that I have, the author talks about coming back from an injury, and part of getting over the nerves of returning to working out after recovering from an injury was they spent a really long time just visualizing succeeding and going through the motions of doing the lift and like mentally preparing their body to do that experience again after taking a break for a long time. So visualizing yourself going to the event, having a positive time, meeting people, like the whole like step by step, like getting dressed, getting in your car, arriving, getting checked in, meeting people, going to the snack area, milling around, visualizing yourself having the experience that you want to have, and then just do that for like a couple times. And just by practicing it, even if things don't really go that way, if you can get enough information, it'll really help you, I think, kind of feel like you did a lot of it already, and it'll just make it less stressful. Interesting. I'm learning so much about people's cognition that I would not have expected. I'm learning on my own live stream. Where do you usually shop for your Lolita stuff? Lace Market. I don't basically buy anything, especially not now with tariffs. I don't buy anything new or firsthand. I just get everything from Lace Market. And you don't have to. One of the fun things about Lolita, with the exception of maybe like hosiery. Hosiery I will get new, and like shoes I'll get new. But otherwise, it's pretty much all from Lace Market for Lolita stuff. All right, Lolita stuff is from Lace Market. I think that is where I'm going to wrap things up for today. I'm sorry I couldn't get to everybody's questions. You can come back, actually, not next Friday, because you know what your girl's going to be doing next Friday. Sleep Token concert, baby. Yes. I'm gonna be in the Bay for a Sleep Token concert next Friday. I might try to do a stream from my phone if the internet is good enough. Because the concert is the concert is Friday actually. It's Friday at 8 p.m. So maybe I might do like a get ready with me stream from my phone of me putting on makeup, which I have not even. I need to come up with an outfit for that. Because I haven't thought about that yet. I'm going to be wearing a mask, so it's like a N95 type mask. So I'm not sure what I'm going to wear for that yet. But I do want to do some face makeup. Maybe I'll do stuff on my forehead. Maybe I'll do like forehead paint. I really want to get one of those nail tools for doing dots with, because I think that would be fun to do. Anyways, things to think about. Sleep Token concert next week, so I won't be here. But I might do a get ready with me, like makeup kind of stream, just like real casual earlier on in the day, and we'll see how that goes. Because I'm probably going to want to be there by like 7 if the concert starts at 8 at minimum. I have seats. I'm not trying to compete for spots in the pit or anything. So, but I do want Thornhill is opening, and I also really like Thornhill. So, yeah. All right. Excited about Sleep Token concert. I will see you all very soon. New video out today if you haven't watched it yet. The bandita has awoken from her little slumber. Come here, my darling. My stretchy lady. Yes, girl. Aw, sweetheart. Come here. Come here. Come here. Hi, baby. No, you want pets, but we're going to say goodbye to people first. You have learned that when I say goodbye, it's bedtime, huh? That's why you... Oh, come... Oh, no. Come here. Hi, sweetie pie. You're so good. You're so good, honey. Hi. You licked my chin. What? Don't lick me. No face licks, ma'am. No, thank you. She's like, you've rejected my love. This dog. I love you so much, my sweetheart, my precious angel. You're so good. Yes, baby. Aw, sweetie pie. Alrighty, sweet baby. Are we gonna snoog? Are we gonna snuggle? Yeah, I think so. I think we're gonna snuggle for a little bit. Okay. Alrighty, y'all. I will see you next week. If I didn't get your question, come back next time. You can ask it then. Or you can join us on Monday for our Twitch streams. I also answer questions on there while I'm playing video games on Monday over on Twitch. Same name, Evie Lupine. And I will talk to you again.